Hi, my name is Umberto Mucci and this is We the ItaliaNews, a podcast about Italy during coronavirus times. Today is Monday, November 15, 2021. To date, considering the Italian population over 12 years old, 86.8% has received at least one dose of vaccine, 84.1% is fully vaccinated, while 48.8% is the percentage of third doses received by those who are currently eligible. A figure makes us brave. 79.2% of young Italians between 18 and 24 years old have been vaccinated. It is the highest percentage in Europe. Our kids are certainly better than us boomers. In fact, 2.7 million unvaccinated Italians are over 50 years old. As every Monday, just a few numbers about the situation of the contagion in Italy, which is worrying. The incidence of the virus on a national basis in the last 7 days has been 86.6 new positive cases per 100,000 inhabitants. The regions with the highest values are Friuli Venezia Giulia, Veneto and Lazio. The one with the lowest value is Sardinia. Over the past 7 days, with regard of the new positive cases, we averaged the percentage change of plus 39.8% compared with the previous 7 days. In the same period, the average change in the number of patients admitted to ordinary wards was plus 13.4% and plus 15.1% in the intensive care units. On average, in the last 7 days, we had 36 deaths a day, with a variation of plus 36.8% compared to the previous 7 days. About a year ago, on November 13, 2020, the record number of new positives in a single day was reached, 40,902, 5 times as many as the peak recorded in these days this year. That day died 550 Italians COVID-related. The positivity rate calculated on the percentage of swabs that tested positive to COVID on the total of those processed was 16%. Today it is at 1.6%. A year ago, the Italian government announced that a curfew would immediately come into effect. People would not be allowed to leave their homes from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. In addition, the system of color regions began. Territories were divided into yellow, orange and red based on the spread of the virus. The white zone would be established in early 2021. In fact, with thousands of hospitalized patients in intensive care, 1 year ago half of Italy was in the red zone, where all businesses, except those deemed essential, were closing again. In the red zone you could go out for physical activity, but only near your home, and the school returned to distance learning just 2 months after our kids went back to school in presence. Travel in and out between red and orange region was also prohibited, allowed only between yellow regions. Between then and now, between 1 year ago and now, when the variant of the virus is much more potent than a year ago, the difference lies in the nearly 100 million vaccine doses administered in Italy. But even today's are numbers that are beginning to alarm, especially in view of Christmas. Vaccines are keeping the fourth wave in Italy under control, but the curves are telling us to be very, very careful. At least for this week, all of Italy will still be in the white zone. All Italian regions are currently classified as moderate risk. Only Calabria is considered low risk. With the possible passage in yellow zone of a region would return the obligation of the use of the mask even outdoors, while bars and restaurants could remain open even for dinner, but with a limit of 4 people per table if not living together, both outdoors and indoors. Instead, there would be no limits to travel in the region and in other regions. The Italian Institute of Health has confirmed the halving of the protection of the vaccine against COVID 6 months after the second dose, a confirmation that seems to arrive also from the numbers of daily contagions as we saw. The will of the government tends to exclude new closures. The forecasts of experts exclude that at least until December 15 can return areas more serious than yellow. But the government is also studying the hypothesis of reducing from 12 to 9 months the validity of the Green Pass and modify some access rules. They do not exclude the hypothesis of no longer taking into account rapid tests for obtaining the Green Pass. Another hypothesis provides for the cancellation of the validity of the Green Pass of those who refuse a third dose, which would come together with the cancellation of the use of swabs as a condition for having the Green Pass, which would thus remain only for those who have done the third dose of the vaccine or at least has not refused it. All of these, however, so far are just ideas that the government is considering. The European Commission's latest digital report says that compared to last year, Italy has moved from 25th to 20th position in the list of the most digitized European countries. The analysis puts together four main indicators in the level of digitization of the economy of member countries: human capital, connectivity, integration of digital technologies, and digital public services. Italy is still lagging behind in terms of digital skills of the population and 5G coverage, but the spread of connectivity networks is improving. Meanwhile, speaking of digital, from today the new Italian Digital Registry is online, the service that will allow citizens to obtain 14 types of registry certificates online, downloading them independently and free of charge. The portal is accessed with your digital identity. The service also allows the viewing of the preview of the document to verify the correctness of the data and to download it in PDF format or receive it by email. The database of the digital registry currently collects data on 98% of the Italian population. The platform also includes the 5.7 million people of the Registry of Italians Living Abroad, the AIRE. The annual study on which Italian cities are the most ecologically reliable and advanced has been published. The data relate to 2020 and therefore it must be considered the exceptional conditions in which they were collected during the lockdown, or in any case in different conditions than usual. Based on the 18 parameters monitored, the 10 best Italian cities from an ecological point of view are, starting from the first, Trento in Trentino Alto Adige, Reggio Emilia in Emilia Romagna, Mantova in Lombardy, Cosenza in Calabria, Pordenone in Friuli Venezia Giulia, Bolzano in Trentino Alto Adige, Parma and Ferrara in Emilia Romagna, Belluno in Treviso in Veneto. As you may have noticed, of the 10 cities, 9 are in the north and only 1 in the south. On the contrary, of the last 10 cities, the least ecologically reliable and advanced, 7 are in the south, 2 in the center, and only 1 in the north. From the last one up are Palermo and Catania in Sicily, Brindisi in Apulia, Alessandria in Piedmont, Messina in Sicily, Latina in Lazio, Isernia in Molise, Massa in Tuscany, Ragusa and Siracusa in Sicily. In general, the best news is the increase in separate waste collection passed on average to 59.3%, while the worst is given by the hose in the water network, with 36% of drinking water that is dispersed. The last news of this video is about the greatest champion in the history of world motorcycling, who yesterday ran his last race. His name is Valentino Rossi. He is now a legend, and yes, he is obviously very, very Italian. After competing for 26 seasons, 9 times world champion and 7 times MotoGP title winner, Rossi was inducted into MotoGP's Hall of Fame. The 42-year-old, nicknamed the Doctor, who will become a father for his first time next year, is considering a move into car racing after competing in Grand Prix motorcycling. Rossi, who is from the Marche region, is the only rider to have won titles in the 125cc, 250cc, 500cc and MotoGP categories. Valentino took a final lap of honor to a standing ovation from the crowd as fireworks dotted the sky, before an emotional farewell with his team and his stunning pregnant fiancée. The destiny has wanted that yesterday, to triumph in the last race of the season, was one of his students in the VR46 Academy, that Francesco Pecco Bagnaia, who won wearing one of Valentino's helmets, almost to sanction a passage of the torch. It's all for now, it's all for today. My name is Umberto Mucci, this was We the ItaliaNews. I'll see you next Thursday. Ciao from Rome.